Hey, this is Gina Duke with Churchtown Ministries. Thank you for tuning in to GinaDuke.com. I am still talking about being God-led and making decisions about whether or not to change jobs. Now, whether or not you're thinking about that, things I'm sharing with you is hopefully pointing you to some good ways to discern God's voice, because that's what I'm really getting at. I'm just using some job change decisions that I've had in my past to help impart some words of clarity to you about discerning God's voice. So sometimes we can be in a job where we just don't get along well with other people that we're working with. We're just not a good fit. And sometimes we work with difficult people, and sometimes we are the difficult people that others are having to work with. And so I was in a situation with my immediate department where I just was not a good fit. And sometimes that can be personality, sometimes it can be from a work ethic standpoint, various reasons. And I was in a situation where it was just not a good work ethic fit for me. And I was so frustrated that I actually increased my blood pressure medicine because I just stayed so stressed out. I wanted to pull their hair out. I wanted to pull my hair out. I was just beside myself, and I wanted to leave and look for another job. But every time I would think about leaving that job, I would feel the conviction of the Holy Spirit. Now, let me explain to you what I think, for me, what it feels like. And I don't know if it feels the same for everyone, but for me, if I'm about to do something that is sin, or I am doing something that is sin, I will feel inside, it's an internal feeling, and it's kind of a warm feeling and a little bit of a jolt where I immediately know that what I am doing or what I'm thinking about doing is displeasing to the Lord. And so every time I think about leaving, I would have this particular sensation where I knew God was saying no. Well, as days went on and the frustration continued to grow, I really grew a haughty spirit where I was thinking, I'm so much better than this, and I don't have to put up with this. And so I decided to contact a company that had been courting me for a couple of years. And I just finally one day called them up and said, I'm ready to talk. And so actually I talked with them. They made me an offer for a job, and I made the change. Now I have to tell you that as I gave my 2-week notice and I'm preparing to take on this new job, I was not excited. I knew it was not right. There was something about it not right. But again, I'm operating under this haughty spirit that I'm leaving this place and I'm leaving working with those people. And so I made the job change. Well, sure enough, I get to this place. It's a great place, great people. But I'm just not a good fit personality-wise. I can just tell I'm just not. I wasn't meant to be there anyway. And it was just so obvious that I was just not the right fit. So I worked there for about 6 months. And about that time, I was traveling. I think I was in Milwaukee. I got a call from a previous plant manager that I worked for before that had taken a job within a company. And they needed an HR manager, so he was calling to see if I was interested. Now, this particular company that he was going to work for was known to have a very aggressive culture. So I immediately said, no, I'm not interested in working for them. And I even said, I don't know if you should work for them. And so I immediately said no to that. And but by the next day, I really felt like the Lord was saying that's where you need to go. And I'll talk about that in another video about when God's leading us to change jobs. But I felt like that is a job that I should take. And so within 6 months, I end up in the place where I believe that the Lord wanted me to be. So had I just waited at my previous employer, even though I was frustrated, it just would have been a seamless process. And I would have ended up where I was supposed to be to begin with. That haughty spirit, God is going to deal with that. And so make sure that you don't get caught up in that you are just wanting to get out and the Lord's saying no and you do it anyway. Because Proverbs 16:18 says that pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. And I have to tell you, my last day with that 6-month employer, I did something so silly that it just completely embarrassed me. And I felt like that was the Lord's chastisement. So please, if the Lord is saying no, no matter how bad you want to leave your job, humble yourself and stay there, because He's got another plan for you. He's got something coming up for you. You just got to hang in there and be obedient to God's leading. And I encourage you to tune in. I'm going to start talking about some times when I felt led to leave a job and what that felt like, how the Lord was leading me. And not only will it help you if you're deciding to make changes, but I think it will help you in your everyday life as well. Thank you, and God bless.